So just want to review the philosophy of classroom management with you all. We went over this 2 years ago at the children's workers meeting, and with it being springtime and just finishing strong through the end of the school year here, I think it's a good time to rehearse this. And we certainly don't want to feel like you all are isolated in your classrooms. And I think having a nice, clear understanding of behavior as you go through the hour or so with the children is good. So, our philosophy, kind of working through this, is that we support and celebrate the parents for showing up to church and being the primary disciple makers in their children's lives. Just a reminder that what we provide for kids is beneficial for the kids, but also allowing the time for the parents to be in the service, discipling, in Bible studies. They take that home with them. And so they use that at home with their kids as the primary disciple makers in their lives. And that's what we support and celebrate. Therefore, we do want to encourage the faithfulness of the family. They had made it to church. We're thankful they're there. We do want children to love church by listening and participating. We go for heart over head in children's ministries. And finally, we want children who struggle to listen and have a harder time with it to try again and endure. That's the Christian life, is trying again and enduring. And what we don't want to do is expect perfection in attendance and behavior. We don't want to focus on the head over the heart. We want to try not to exhaust the lesson if it means the behavior of the class. And our curriculum circles back. So just know if they miss it with you, they're going to get it in a few years or somewhere else in the church at different times. And then lastly, we don't want to reshape a pattern of discipline already going on at home. So we're with them for just a short time. So let's do the green here and encourage faithfulness, love, and endurance. And so even though all of this is true, we do want to have structure in the time we're with the kids. So how might a circle process at church look of structure with behavior? Well, I think number one, it's knowing what actions a child does might warrant this process, such as talking during the lesson, not sharing, yelling, hands on others, in a sense of not like hitting or striking. That would be a more serious matter that would relate to um, a report written about it, but just hands on, and then a misuse of toys. So this kind of is throughout kids ministries. I'm thinking nursery here. Also, what are good processes to go through with these kids? Well, the first one might be a nonverbal cue, and the younger kids might not get this, like 2 year olds or 3 year olds, but they might. And a nonverbal cue would just be a side glare or a look. A lighthearted verbal cue, if that doesn't work, is like, "Hey, Brandon, stop that," or "Hey, Brandon, you should share with others." It's lighthearted, it's not aggressive, but it is a direct command, essentially a first warning. Then a final warning. You can use a shoulder touch, go over and stand by them, use proximity, and say, "Okay, now you need to stop. This is the last time I'll tell you." If they don't stop and continue, then we move them to a new spot. So we move Brandon from one part of the room to the other, make it clear for them it's a physical movement. You need to move away from the kitchen set and you need to move over now to the table. You can color at the table, but now you have to move. And if it continues there, well, then it's okay, now we're going to go have a conversation. And where you might have this conversation is taking a break. So why don't you go sit by the door and I'll come talk to you in a second. If there's only two adults in the classroom, then just open the door and stand right outside the hall by the door and just have a talk with them and review what they need to be doing and not doing, and even go into the why with it, such as distracting people or being harmful to themselves. Remember, we like to use joy, Jesus, others, yourself. If you won't do it because Jesus doesn't want you to do it because it harms, don't do it or do it because it harms others. Or lastly, yourself. You're just getting in trouble, and we don't want that for you. So that's the warning. When we do take them out and talk to them, then we bring them back into the classroom and we let them try again. That's that endurance part. If it persists, then what happens when it persists? And I think this is the part where we can really continue to look for and get better with as a church. If the circle process has to be done more than once, let the parent know at pickup. So, hey, I sat down with Brandon, I had a break with him and a conversation with him about why him talking during the lesson is not good for others to hear the message of Jesus or the Word of God. It's not good for yourself because then you're missing it. And certainly Jesus doesn't want us to miss his words. And he continued to talk during the lesson. We brought him back in, and we still had to even give him a few more warnings after that. So just wanted to let you know. The parents, I'm sure, will be appreciative, take their child and talk to them, and the parents can handle it from there. What happens though if this is weekly and it's a little bit more than just talking during lesson and needing breaks, but it's like seems to be this persistent yelling or not sharing or just really hard time with other kids? Well, if this process happens consistently, I think that's when, like weekly consistently, that's when we can let the children's pastor or floor lead know, and they can have further discussions with the parents. And so that's when we can seek to just help the parents with conversations, hear from them. They can help us of what's going on with the child when they're here. And we can seek to work toward a resolution with them being in the class, whatever the various creative ways to do that might be. Um, Again, I hope this is helpful. And just keep in mind, this is more behavior that's more of distracting than it is destructive. Destructive behavior that's pretty excessive, if it is the case, that's when it's like immediate written report, or it's immediately going and getting the floor lead or the children's pastor or who's ever around. So that's when it's a little heightened. This is more when it's scaled back, the behavior that you're dealing with every time you're at church helping in kids ministries. So I think this is just good for us to keep in mind, this circle process and consistency of it.